Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. We are Harold Torres, and
David Montoya.
for today's podcast, we're going to talk about fossilization. Yeah, it is not a fossilization as we know from the dinosaurs and also for the plants and all those that were living in our planet from years and years ago. No, we're talking about fossilization in second language acquisition. Yeah, but first of all, we have to define what is fossilization. Okay, fossilization, it has to be with when you are learning a new language and you're trying to have an idea or trying to express yourself when you're talking, but you want that the other persons catch the idea what you're talking about, but you doesn't know how to express or how to spell or how to use the correct word. That's fossilization. Or also when you try to talk in the same way you talk your native language or your first language, and try to put the words in the order that they come. And yeah, but it also happens when you have learned a lot of the second language you're learning, but you came into a hole where the words or the learning process is stopped because you don't understand or you don't catch the idea to how to use the words or how to manage the language when you're talking. We are going to start talking about a concept of fossilization. Okay, first of all, the fossilization is a theme or a topic that is difficult to understand to many people because they are like, okay, that's not fossilization, it's just an error. Yeah, but the error, it is constant in the language use of the second learner. So, first of all, accept the concept of fossilization. It may appear at different language levels. So yeah, as I have said before, that constant error in the use of language. It also may occur at different learning stage among age groups. It means that in different situations of scholar process, we see that in some groups they have a very good improvement of the language than other groups in the same classes, and also it has to be with the level of the stage learning, and also it has to be with the topic that we are teaching. It also may be either structural fossilization or competence fossilization, and this is when the student tries to learn about the error he's doing, but he cannot understand or doesn't understand, he doesn't process the objective of the correction. And also it is usually manifested as the deviant forms from the teacher learning for norms. Sometimes teachers doesn't know how to teach, yeah, or they teach and they don't even care what they're teaching or how is the process of their students. It also makes the work difficult. And there are soft and hard degrees of fossilization. It also has to be with the personal structure. It also has to be with the abilities of the students, and it also has to be with some process that the student doesn't correct the error, and then he may leave the course or the program or the process, and then he's going to feel bad because he's not going through the process and he's not getting the results he may is looking in his classmates. Then we have the classification of fossilization. It is divided into aspects. First, individual fossilization and group fossilization. And second, temporary fossilization and permanent fossilization. Okay, we're going to start with individual fossilization. Fossilization, it divides itself in two parts: error reappearance and language competence fossilization. The error reappearance is the inappropriate interlanguage structures that are thought to have been read but continue to appear regularly. Then we have language competence fossilization. It is the breakthrough in the development of second language learners in the aspect of phonological, grammatical, lexical, and pragmatic competence. And now I'll let you with David, that is going to talk about types of fossilization and also with the causal factors of fossilization. Go, David.
Thank you, Harold. Now we are going to talk about type of fossilization and causal factors of fossilization. There are 5 types of fossilization. There is the phonological, the morphological, the syntactic, the semantic, and the pragmatic. The phonological fossilization refers to when we use our mother tongue as a reference to speaking another language. This can be bad because we have some ways to say things. For example, in Spanish, there are different ways to speak, to say something that is incorrect to say it in English. So the transfer of these errors refers to the phonological fossilization. The morphological fossilization is a common problem in the suffix of some verbs in past. We tend to think that all verbs in past sound the same. We think that the only difference is the irregular ones, but in the regular verbs in past there are some difference in pronunciation. Now, the syntactic fossilization, and this refers to how we use tenses in sentences in different languages. For example, in English and Spanish, we use tenses to make a difference between questions and past. This in other languages is in existence. So the syntactic fossilization refers to this, the use of not tenses in any sentences. Now we have the semantic fossilization. This is the transference of sayings or way to say things in our mother tongue to other languages. We use some sayings to say some things, but if we translate these sayings, they are going to sound bad or they are not going to have any sense. Now we have the pragmatic fossilization. This is the problem, the errors we get in our understanding of things. This is very like the semantic fossilization, only that refers a lot to how we understand what others are saying to us. This can result in misunderstandings when we don't understand exactly what they are saying to us. Now we are going to talk about the causal factors of fossilization. We have the language transfer, the training transfer, the learning strategies, the communication strategy, and the overgeneralization. For the language transfer, these errors are, like I said before, like a transfer of what we use or how we say things in our mother tongue, but is incorrect in the second language. Now we have as a causal factor of fossilization the training transfer. To this, we refer to the self-learners or the street learners that learn English by themselves, but their errors never get to be eradicated, they never get to be corrected. So these errors fossilize in the language of this individual that learn from themselves. Now, the learning strategy. This comes as a something very like the street learners, but is the use of formal strategies to learn English, but in a bad way. Is when we don't have exactly a teacher, but we have like a correct strategy, but it's not in well use. Is even wrong? We are using it wrong, or we're learning wrong. We have then the communication strategy. This refers to the communication strategy. This refers to how the speakers tend to simplify the language. With this, they pay too much attention to fluency, but they never get to pay attention to accuracy, how they say things, if they're pronouncing them right. Now we go to the overgeneralization. We were talking about this and the suffix in the verbs that are in past. We usually think that all verbs in past sound the same, but not every verb sound the same in past. We have obviously the irregular ones that have a different pronunciation and a different spelling, and some of the regulars have different spellings in the ed at the end. So with this topic of the fossilization, we want to introduce teachers to how our students perpetuate errors and they never correct them. We as teachers have to teach to our students how to speak good English, how to communicate, and how to make themselves understand. There are obviously many ways to speak in English, and we cannot teach every way to speak in English to every student, but we need to aim to an English that can be understandable and can be communicated to everyone.
So it was all for today. Thank you for listening to our podcast and see you soon. Bye bye.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me.